Hey everyone, welcome back to Rise and Sky Immigration with a new video. Today, we have exciting news to share about deportation of 700 students to be halted at IRCC Minister's discretion. On June 14, 2023, Immigration Minister Sean Fraser announced that he will stop the deportation of innocent international students in fake offer letter case by exercising his discretionary authority. However, he made clear that international students who intentionally were part of this scam will still be deported from Canada. Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, IRPA, offers discretionary authority to Immigration Minister to make exceptions to existing rules and regulations. Sean Fraser said, "I want to make it clear that international students who are not found to be involved in fraud will not face deportation. The Immigration Refugee Protection Act offers me discretionary authority which I believe should be exercised in the present context. This is a big win for victims of fraud." International students peacefully protesting their deportation at 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga since May 29, 2023. Immigration Minister in his officially released statement said that he has already assembled a task force of IRCC officials who will work closely with the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, to identify the victims of fraud, i.e., the students who came to Canada to study and exactly did that. Senior IRCC and CBSA officials at the ADM level will be part of this new task force. Like and subscribe to the channel and press the notification icon so that you get notified of new videos and true and accurate information about Canada immigration. Now let's move on to the video. CBSA will identify the international students facing deportation because of fraudulent offer letter or documentation and send the list to IRCC. Now see Minister's announcement.
Hello and welcome everyone. I just wanted to give a brief update on a very important issue that I'm sure many of you will have seen in the news in recent weeks. Of course, this involves the subject of international students who are the subject of certain removal orders as a result of their admission to Canada on the basis of fraudulent acceptance letters. But I do have important news to share, particularly for those genuine students who are the victims of fraud, to provide recourse in this particular instance. First, we are establishing a task force made up of senior officials of both IRCC and CBSA. This task force will be required to undertake a case-by-case analysis of every individual case that is the subject of a removal order on the basis of fraudulent letters of acceptance. In the interim, and this is particularly important for the students who find themselves in this situation, any pending removals will be halted in the interim and there will be a temporary permission to stay over the course of this period of consideration. The task force will consider particular factors, including whether a person completed their study, including their level of knowledge of any fraudulent scheme that may have underpinned their application, and those who are found not to have had knowledge and who have been genuine applicants to the student program will be given permission to stay in Canada for a period of a few years so they can either complete their studies or potentially remain in Canada and work over the next few years. Those international students who are genuine applicants that came to Canada to study and were victimized by fraudsters will be given permission to remain in Canada. Those who were complicit in a fraudulent scheme will be held accountable for their actions and will bear the full consequences of Canadian law for their illicit behaviour in this particular instance. We need to do what we can to protect the ability of those innocent people to remain in Canada, and with the process that I've laid out for you today, we'll be able to do just that. So it'll be senior officials from IRCC and CBSA, likely at the ADM level. We have a very good record of who is the subject of a removal order. CBSA will provide the names of the impacted individuals. IRCC will dig into the file to understand the specifics of an individual case. It's difficult to lay out with certainty the exact features that may be at issue on a given case because the facts vary from person to person. To the extent that a student, for example, came to Canada, completed their studies, or has records that demonstrate they did not in fact know about the fraud, all of the evidence will be considered. To the extent that there is evidence that someone came to Canada, for example, never undertook took a period of study and immediately tried to start to work, or if there is specific evidence on their file indicating they had knowledge of a fraudulent scheme, that would obviously push the equation in the other direction. So the totality of the evidence will be considered by the senior officials at IRCC and CBSA to identify a path forward, and temporary permission to remain in Canada for a few years will be issued to those who demonstrate that they were actually taken advantage of rather than they were perpetuating fraud themselves.
Senior IRCC officials will then evaluate the files of these international students and make their observation. Quoting an example, Minister said that officers will assess if any of these international students started working immediately after arriving in Canada, rather than studying. Then they will be deported as they did not follow their intention of studying. Minister also clarified that there are not 700 international students facing deportation based on fake documentation. As per Immigration Minister, there are only dozens of international students affected in this fake offer letter case. Furthermore, Minister has instructed officers to issue a temporary resident permit to international students who came to Canada with a genuine intent to study and without knowledge that their consultant has used a fraudulent documentation. This will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis and ensure that these students who graduated can remain in Canada and are not subject to the 5-year ban as usually happen in the cases of misrepresentation. During the course of this procedure, preliminary temporary resident permits, TRPs, will be issued if necessary to prevent the imminent deportation of any international student's case under review. In addition to this, IRCC has been collaborating even more closely with designated learning institutions, DLIs, provinces and territories, and organizations representing Canada's colleges and universities in order to detect and combat fraud more effectively and to maintain the integrity of the immigration programs. On June 10, deportation of an international student Lovepreet Singh was stayed, just 2 days before his ticket back to India. Minister reiterated, the Government of Canada's focus is on identifying those who are responsible for the fraudulent activity and not on penalizing those who may have been affected by fraud. On June 7, 2023, All-Party Committee on Immigration voted unanimously calling on CBSA to waive inadmissibility in fake offer letter case. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more updates on immigration news and other exciting topics. Until next time, take care and keep chasing your dreams. Goodbye.